Good day everyone. The topics is all about monitoring and evaluation. First is basic concept of monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation, often called M&E, is combination of data collection and analysis. Monitoring and assessing to what extent a program or intervention has or has not met its objectives, and for evaluation, monitoring and evaluation have been used to assess the performance of the project, program, and social initiatives. The overwhelming number of monitoring or evaluation or M&E has been time consuming and limited to reporting activity and output. Reports which is not more than impact justification, while this article simply documents and M&E terms. Those who are looking to innovate rather and scale and social impact should refer to our impact measurement or resources rather. Next is, what is monitoring? Monitoring is periodic and continuous, conducted after the program or initiation and during the duration of the program or intervention. The data acquired is primarily rather input and output focus and is generally used as an ongoing strategy to determine efficiency of implementation. For example, an NGO delivering training for school teachers might track monthly the number of sites and visited trainings and delivered the number of teachers trained or etc. Next is, they question to consider for monitoring strategy included. First is, what key metrics can give us an idea of the state of the implementation rather. Next is, do we have a lean data collection and analysis processes. Next is, how efficiently are implementing our programs. Based on the data acquired, do we need to make any changes rather to our programs. Next is, a monitoring plan usually focus on the processes occurring during the implementation of a program. This can include tracking the following during defined periods of time. When programs were implemented. Next is the location or region in which programs were delivered. Next is which departments or teams delivered activities. How often certain activities occurred. Number of people reached through a program's activities. Next is number of products delivered or number of hours of a service. And for lastly is cost of program implementation. What is evaluation? Program evaluation focus on the performance of the intervention and is principally used to determine whether beneficiaries and really have benefited due to those activities. It generally looks at outcomes, assessing whether a change occurred between the outset and termination of an intervention, or at least between two specific time periods. Ideally, ideally, that change should be able to be attributed to the activities undertaken. Next is key questions that an evaluation considered. First is, did our activities make a measurable difference in our target beneficiary groups? How much can the change observed be attributed to our activities? What contributed to our success or failure? Can we scale observed changes or replicate in the other contexts? Next is, did we achieve impacts in a cost-effective way? And for the lastly is, have any unexpected result occurred? Next is, the outset of program, it is important to acquire baseline data. which will be used to compare progress at every evaluation interval and at the end of the program period. When thinking about how to measure for outcomes, changes that have occurred, consider the following key elements. First is understand how your inputs, outputs, activities, and etc. generate changes. See theory of change. Next is design your evaluation plan, your research plan before launching a program or intervention. Use outcomes that are relevant for your beneficiaries. Use data collection methods that fit the needs of beneficiary and the skills of your employees rather. Incentives beneficiaries to provide you with data and key intervals. Ensure you have etiquette data management and analysis tools and people who know how to use them. Next is definition and objectives of M&E or monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation is a continuous management function to assess if progress is made in achieving expected results. To spot bottlenecks in implementation and to highlight whether there are any unintended effects of positive or negative from an investment plan, program or project plan and its activities. The process of planning, monitoring, and evaluation make up the result-based management or RVM approach which intended to aid decision making towards explicit goals. CRBM planning helps rather to focus on results that matter, while ME facilitates learning from the past success and challenges and those encountered during implementation. Elements elements of an ME system which if developed together with all the key stakeholders will encourage participation and increase ownership of a project plan. Result framework or log frames, which are tools to organize intended result, or i.e. measurable development changes. RFS inform the development of the ME plan and both must be consistent with each other. CRBM. The ME plan, which contains a description of the function required to gather the relevant data on the set indicators and the required methods and tools to do so. And the MNE plan is used to systematically organize the collection of specific data to be assessed, indicating roles and responsibilities of project plan or stakeholders. It ensured that relevant progress and performance information is collected, processed, and analyzed on a regular basis to allow for a real-time, evidence-based decision-making. The various process and methods for monitoring, such as regular input and output data, gathering and review, participatory monitoring, process monitoring, and for evaluation, and including impact evaluation and thematic surveys, the economic analysis of efficiency, CFEA, and D, the management information system, which is an organized repository of data. Obtain georeference to assist managing key or numeric information or related to the project plan and the analysis. Components of MNE system. An MNE system refers to all functions required to measure a project plan progress and to assess the achievement of its result. This system is usually composed of a set of results measured by indicators, together called the results framework, through monitoring tools and a manual that describe the roles and responsibilities related to its function. Monitoring is continuous process by which stakeholders obtain regular feedback on progress towards achieving and the set milestone and the result, often focusing more on process and activities, inputs and outputs. For evaluation is the periodic review of the result of project plan typically carried out the midterm or the completion towards its outcome development goals and impact. See impact evaluation. Both monitoring and evaluation process enhance the effectiveness of project plan implementation and contribute to its ongoing revision and update. This process also promote accountability where implementers have a clearly defined responsibilities, role and performance, ex- performance and expectations, including the prudent use of resources. For public sector, manager and policymaker, for example, it includes accountabilities to taxpayer and citizens. Through systematic collection of information, the ME system contribute also to provide evidence for the midterm and the completion result. Assessment as well as beneficiary level impact analysis, MNE also enhance learning and encourage innovation to achieve better result and contribute to scaling up of projects. M&ER consideration at design stage. The design of ME system should begin at the same time as overall project preparation. As a general rule, the M&E system should be designed in close partnership with all relevant stakeholders as it contributes to ensuring that the project plan, objectives and targets and how they will be measured are well understood and shared. This understanding can potentially facilitate and the establishment of new institutions to take on the ME role and educate resources need to be allocated for implementation of NNE. Next is type of evaluation and how to collect data. Data is an extremely important factor when it comes to gaining insight about a specific topic, study, or research, or even people. This is why it is regarded as a vital component of all of the system that make up our world today. In fact, data offers a broad range of application and uses in the modern age. So whether or not you're considering digital transformation and data collection is an aspect that you should never brush off. Especially if you want to get insight, make forecasts and manage your operation in a way that creates significant value. However, many people still gravitate towards a confusion when they come the terms with the idea of data collection. So, um, in this article, we will help you for understand what is data collection, why collecting and acquiring data can be beneficial for your business. What are the different methods of collecting data? Next is modern tools for data collection. And lastly, need help collecting data for your business? We can help or excuse me at iterators we design, build and maintain costume software solution that will help you achieve and desired result. What is data collection? Data collection is defined as a systematic method of obtaining, observing, measuring, and analyzing accurate information to support research conducted by groups of professionals regardless of the field where they belong. While techniques and goals may vary per field, and the general data collection methods used in the process are essentially the same. In other words, there are specific standards that need to be strictly followed and implemented to make sure that data is collected accurately. Not to mention rather, if the appropriate procedures are not given importance, a variety of problems might arise and impact the study or research being conducted. Next is the most common risk in the inability to identify answer and draw correct conclusion for the study, as well as failure to validate if the results are correct. The risk may also result in questionable research, which can greatly rather affect your credibility. So before you start collecting data, you have to rethink and review all of your research goals. Start by creating a checklist of your objectives. Here are some important questions to take into account. First is, what is the goal of your research? What type of data are you collecting? What data collection methods and procedure will you utilize to acquire, store, and process and the data you be gathered? Next is program planning and evaluation. The Getting to Outcomes 2004, promoting accountability through methods and tools for planning and implementation and evaluation. Technical report was designed to help practitioners improve the accountability and the quality of their programs. The Getting to Outcomes GTO approach was developed to address the gap between research and practice by building capacity for effective practice at the individual's practitioner and program levels, choosing evidence-based practices and planning, implementing, evaluating, and sustaining effective practices. This summary statement contains the methods from this report, refers to tools to program planning, implementation, and evaluation summary, and a statement for the tools. The Getting Outcomes of GTO approach is based on traditionally evaluation methods, empowerment evaluation, result-based is accountability and continuous quality and improvement, while traditional evaluation methods typically use neutral, external, external evaluators working at arm's length relationship from practitioners or empowerment evaluation and collaborate encourages and collaborative relationship between evaluators and practitioners. Empowerment evaluation is based on the notion that program success is more likely when evaluators collaborate with the practitioners and provide them with the tools and opportunities to plan, implement, evaluate, and develop a continuous quality improvement system themselves. Result-based accountability or RBA focus on the result of programs and what can be learned from the program impacts and program effectiveness rather than process or output information continuous Quality and Improvement or CQI is a technique within the Total Quality of Management. TQM, which is based on principles of quality, improvement, error, and cost reduction, and increasing client satisfaction. And uses of evaluation. Although extension educators, funder, and administrator are in favor of evaluating extension programs, honestly requires us to admit that most of us are not overly enthusiastic rather about undertaking it. There are many reasons for our resistance. However, if we are to provide evaluation leadership, we must recognize forms of organizational and personal resistance, or this will sabotage our evaluation efforts. It is not uncommon to use the occasion of evaluation to mask our insecurity with distrust or criticism of others. Intention, motivation, and competency or advocacy of effort. We are sometimes caught in a vine between our reluctance to ask ourselves hard evaluation question and our resentment of outsiders. Asking questions. The second form of resistance is fear, particularly the fear of the change that evaluation might precipitate. It is the nature of organization to be self-protective and defensive. Evaluation and organization comfort appear to be somewhat incompatible because evaluation challenges organization to change. We all resist change to some extent. Although evaluation is not revolutionary, it is a handmaiden to gradual change, and we have to recognize that our reluctance to participate in evaluation is partially partially rather in a reluctance to embrace needed change. Another resistance to evaluation comes from our need to avoid embarrassment about a potential bad news. We need to know the quality of our efforts, but we also have a fear of finding out the truth about our achievements. Particularly if we lack a confidence, most of us avoid tests for the same reason. We need to pace up to our personal and organizational ambiguity to regarding our need to know and our fear of knowing. Still another resistance result from the fact that evaluation is often an additional task to an already impossible workload. Those whose those whose job description includes evaluation may need only to be reminded of this. However, potential benefits may have to be discussed and identified if collaboration is to become a reality among those who do not have a formal professional responsibility for undertaking it. Benefits of include recognition for achievements and opportunities to improve practice, establishment of accountability, and learning new lessons about our efforts. Process evaluation. Um, Next is aspect of evaluation. Process evaluation is used to measure the activities, the program quality, and who is reaching. Process evaluation is outlined by how we and colleges will help answer question about your program, such as first is as the project reach the target group. Next is are all of project activities reaching all parts of the target group. Next is, are participants and other key stakeholders satisfied with all aspects of the project? Next is, are all activities being implemented as intended? If not, why? What if any changes have been made of intended activities? Next, and for the lastly is, are all materials, information, and presentation suitable for the target audience? Next is process evaluation. Process evaluation is used to measure the activities of the program or program quality and who is reaching. Process evaluation outline okay, aspect of evaluation. Impact evaluation is used to measure the immediate effort of the program and is aligned with the program's objectives. Impact evaluation measure how will the program objectives and sub-objectives have been achieved. First is impact evaluation will help the answer question such as, next is, how will the has the project achieved is the objective and sub-objective. How well have been desired short term changes been achieved? Next is, thank you for watching and listening po.